Okay, I call this meeting to order and welcome everyone in attendance and those viewing the meeting via live stream. Thank you for being here. All of our board members are here. We will start our meeting with the public comment. We have one person signed up for public comment, Michelle Mitchell.
Right at the beginning, yeah, that's right.
All right.
I will probably just read directly from this today just so I stay on task and within the time limit. I just wanted to let you all know that I have followed school board activity in our community since my boys started in elementary school. 11 years now, to be exact. And I recently shared my concerns regarding this school board on social media, when all along I probably should have just been here sharing with you directly those concerns. I've grown increasingly concerned over the last year that instead of fostering collaboration and focusing on the best interest of students, too often, your board meetings have become marked by severe dysfunction, division, selfish intentions, stalled decision-making, and a lack of clear direction and proper leadership. Even more troubling are my concerns of collusion among certain members, violation of Idaho's open meeting law, and repeated disregard for the board's own code of conduct and ethics. These are not minor issues or mistakes. These are choices with serious consequences. When you allow personal agendas, political posturing, or infighting to overshadow your shared responsibility, your choices continue to break the very foundation of that in which you are supposed to uphold the highest standards of excellence. Board meetings are not your personal stage or place for a power struggle. The role you hold...
Michelle, I'm going to need to stop you because we've adopted Robert's Rules of Order. And
Yeah,
I
you
don't
have,
know
and
if you're
you guys
aware-
all break them.
don't
I am
know
aware of those.
But in Robert's Rules, I'll read to you from.
I don't need it read. And here in your public comment, it says that I can address you and you listen, and then you can
Let me just read
respond
to you
after.
what I'm talking about. It says, one of the most important,
Yeah,
one of the, no,
I
I'm
don't think that there's
calling,
any
this is a point
violation
of
of Robert's
order.
rules. Okay, you can go ahead
Let me
with your
just
point of
read
order.
what
Sure.
I'm talking about.
Sure.
One of the most important rules of debate is that the proposal, not the member or members, is the subject of the debate. Vigorous debate about the merits of a motion is central to the very idea of deliberate assembly. When the
This isn't a
arguments
debate.
and then criticizing and any reasoning, however, is different than criticizing the opponent personally. So, you know, if there was an issue you would like to criticize or disagree with.
This next
that
paragraph is my issue.
But personal.
I don't think
These
that
aren't
there's any
personal.
personal. And then
That's personal.
in our board policy, it does state that members of the community are allowed to be critical of the board, just not be abusive or
Critical
defamatory.
of
board work.
decisions.
Yes.
And, you know, and things like that.
Okay.
But personal attacks is a little bit different.
Yep, no, none of this is personal attacks in general.
It all sounded personal.
I'm sorry you took it that way. But if you want to, you can. It's
No,
addressing the whole
no,
board.
it was talking about all of the board members and in kind of attitudes and.
This is
kind
a
of
collective of
Assumed.
all behaviors and actions observed.
Assumed, like assumed intentions.
Just
but it's
observed.
not- But
Yeah.
it's not based on,
I think the rest of what I have to say might clear up what you may be
Okay.
thinking. Okay? These are no minor mistakes or issues that I feel I have observed. Your choices, oh, sorry, I read that part. Board meetings, the role you hold is not about ego, ideology, or control. Effective government demands true transparency, professionalism, and a willingness to listen and learn. Dysfunction isn't just a distraction, it's a barrier to progress. We need board members who are not only willing to serve, but are willing to serve selflessly and capable of leading with integrity, empathy, and purpose. With my many years' experience being involved with Pocatello-Chubbuck School District 25, I can confidently and wholeheartedly say how fortunate we are to have such a dedicated and capable administration leading District 25. With strong collaborative leadership already in place, the possibilities for success are endless, but only if paired with a school board that shares that same professionalism, ethics, and passion for progress. I'm here today to hold you all accountable because no one else has. Every parent, teacher, student, and taxpayer in this district deserves a board that puts students first, obeys the law, honors in ethical obligations, and models integrity. Right now, I personally believe you to be failing in all of those accounts. Make no mistake, the community is watching, and in November, the community will act. You may hold these seats for now, but you will not hold them forever, and the record of your actions, behaviors, and choices will follow you. Some of you have great potential to be incredible assets to this school district and its community. I feel some of you do not. It's time you remember who you serve and why. Moving forward, I will take personal responsibility to hold this board accountable to nothing less than the very best. The community deserves better, and I intend to make sure it gets exactly that, starting today.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks.
So next on the agenda is, if I can find it, we have our continuous improvement plan presented by Amy Bowie.
Good afternoon. Included in your packet is the draft of the continuous improvement plan for 25-26. And the board will be asked to approve that plan at next week's meeting. The continuous improvement plan, as you remember, is a framework required by the state of Idaho to ensure that every school district and charter school is actively working toward measurable academic growth and student success. The SIP is updated annually and serves as both a roadmap for internal progress and a public accountability tool. Each fall, the instructional directors, Dr. Howell, Ms. Pettit, Mr. Watson, Ms. Harris, Ms. Atwood, Ms. Patterson, and myself, we meet to ensure that the plan accurately highlights key components that directly support student achievement in our district. The first section, as you can see, the first section, I know you only see this about once a year, so I'm just going to give you a quick refresher. The first section, the narrative, includes our mission and vision, as well as our community involvement, where we highlight our building parent advisory committees, our district curriculum committee, our key communicators, and our board-appointed curriculum materials adoption committees. Included in our plan is the literacy intervention plan and the college and career advising plan. That's not required by the state any longer. However, as a team, we decided that transparency was really important for our stakeholders, and so we continue to post both of those plans and update those plans. And the next section, so that's the narrative section. The next section includes our student achievement and growth metrics in key areas that are designated by the state of Idaho. In this section, what we do is we examine our performance targets that we set last year. We look at how we actually did on those performance targets, and then we set another performance target. And those are really good conversations where we have an opportunity to dig deep into the data as we make those decisions. The measurable areas that the state chooses to include in that metric are ISAT, both growth and proficiency, IRI proficiency, graduation rates, and percentage of students who are accessing advanced opportunities funding. I think the most important part, I'm biased maybe, I think the most important part of the plan is the key takeaways. After we do all this work, we, as a team, we discuss our successes, our challenges, and then our plans moving forward. So as board members, I think that's probably, it's kind of a long, arduous plan, but if you were gonna spend time digging in deeply to this plan, probably this would be a good place for you to spend your time, reading through how we as a team have highlighted what we feel like our successes are, our challenges, and our plans. So I'll highlight briefly a couple of successes that we pointed out this year, for example. For example, this year we had 8th grade ELA ISAT proficiency. Our district proficiency rate was 63%, and the state was 54%. So we exceeded the state by nearly 10 percentage points in 8th grade ELA, and we improved from last year by 7 percentage points. So that was like a large gain, and so we don't just high five each other and then leave the room. We begin to dig a little deeper and ask, what were we doing, what worked, and we work with instructional coaches and building principals. These conversations don't just happen. They don't just happen with our instructional directors. We take them back into conversations with buildings and instructional coaches, and it gets down to the teacher level. I've talked about that before, how important that this bird's eye view, this umbrella view, gets back down into the classroom. A few other things that are probably worth noting, you can glance that, you know about our graduation rate, you know some of these successes. I think one that was pretty eye-opening was our SAT performance. So we were only a couple percentage points above the state in each of the areas. the English reading and writing area, the math area, and the both benchmark area. However, when you look at the fact that we are testing 90% of our students, we're giving the opportunity for the bulk of our students to take that exam, when other districts our size in the state of Idaho are at about 52% participation, because it's not required. So when you look at our participation rate, and then you consider the fact that we're still 2 percentage points higher than the rest of the state, that we were pretty pleased by that, and take pride in the equity and that we value and opportunity that we value in making sure these kids have accessibility to the test. So those were just a couple of the highlights. And then, you know, the challenges, math proficiency gap, we see, and I talked about this last year, we see in 5th grade a gap, a dip statewide, a dip in math proficiency. And we did make some gains on that, but we see that still is somewhere we want to focus. The ISAT blueprint, how it changes back and forth, we will have the same blueprint 2 years in a row. So the longitudinal data gets hard to examine when after COVID the test changed over and over. We did include, I do want to point one thing out. We did include, for the first time in our plan, we included a reflection on elementary and secondary special education. We think that's a really important part of our plan, and I wanted to point that out to you. And then you can see our strategic plan moving forward. You can see Michael McDowell, our K-5 ELA curriculum, what we're doing with math intervention, data-driven instruction, AI integration, equitable grading, all the things. And that's kind of, even for me, like being able, there's so many things we work on a day-to-day basis, to be able to kind of have this priority list. It's like, okay, here are the big things we're working on, and we're going to stay focused on those. So, and then the final piece of the plan, that's the metrics, that's the staff metrics, and I don't know what I did with that, but that just shows, especially in elementary, we're able to do this because as part of their evaluation, they give the same assessment, and so they set a performance target. So 3rd grade math teachers on the interim assessment said that they would have 78% proficiency, they had 79% proficiency, and they set the goal for next year at 80%. That's the last part of the plan, and it gets, so you'll be asked to approve the plan next week, and then once approved, then Ms. Johnson posts that. Go ahead.
I've got a question.
Yeah, you bet.
I've heard, did the testing schedule change of when the tests are being, like the IRI? I mean, is the benchmark for at the beginning of the year versus?
I think
I've heard that it's not happened and it won't happen until October, the first test, and that's different. Am I?
Well, there's a lot of, so I'm just trying to, you could be talking about a few different things. If you're talking ISAT?
She's talking Amira and IRI.
Okay.
So yes, this year the state is now using Amira. So it's a new company for the IRI, or they call it the ISIP test, which is required twice a year in the fall and the spring. And as a result, they wanted to have, because it's the first year and some of the difficulties with technology and getting on and learning a new program, they wanted to wait until October to do the first, what they call the fall IRI. So we have September, we're working on it, and we've actually had a few technology pieces as well, getting people logged in and some challenges. So September, you can just jump into the program, you can kind of test it out, try it out, and then October will be the actual baseline fall score for the IRI.
So my question is, are you concerned about that? Because now you don't have that, I mean, you're already 2 months into, your benchmark has now moved. And
It could be a little different, and it could be a little different because it is a new test as well. They said that they're pretty closely aligned, and they've worked very closely with iStation, who we had in the past. But we could see a little bit of a change in terms of
Growth.
Can you
growth
show
and
growth?
proficiency
Right, that's what
and
are
the
we-
amount
are
of
we
growth, where we're 6 weeks into school before they start testing, whereas usually we're just a couple weeks in and we start testing. So we'll see and keep an eye on it. And then they're going back the next year. They're going to go back to.
I just don't want them to use data to say, see, public schools, there's no
Right.
improvement.
Right.
You know what I mean? There could be a negative.
At the end of the day,
implication of
our proficiency scores are really high,
Yeah.
and they have been in IRI. And so at the end of the day, we're going to be looking, no matter where we started in September or October, and we have had really high growth, and we're proud of that. But
Sure.
at the end of the day, we want all of our students proficient, and so
Of
we'll look at that.
course.
We'll look at that, May, and I'm confident. Are you confident? We're confident. We're confident.
I'm glad Amy has confidence.
Those
No, I do
proficiency
too.
scores will look
I'm
good in May.
confident too.
Yeah, but that's a good question. I wondered if you were talking about ICE. So the same thing, there was some rumors that ISAT, that the window won't go quite as long, and they're going to cut up May 1st, and that caused some teachers some anxiety a little bit, but we've got it now to where we can give that test through May 15th and then do we've got that worked out.
Okay.
And I thought maybe that's what you were referring to. There's,
Well,
in the world of
you always
scheduling,
wonder,
test
right?
scheduling, it could have been a few different things, so,
Sure,
yeah.
okay.
So we're not going to use iStation, we're going to use the Emira?
Emira, yep,
Okay, and that will be the tutoring.
yep.
Can you
Yes.
remind me what grades do, Amira? Because on here it says kindergarten, first, second, but my fourth grader came home.
We're
talking
doing, so the IRI is K through 3. AJ, 3? You're right. Is K through 3, but we purchased Amira K through 5 because we saw some big advantages from our 4th and 5th graders. It'll be interesting to watch that data. But in terms of the state assessment, that's limited to K through.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and they have the practice tests and everything? like
Yes,
that,
oh
just
yeah,
the
oh
other-
yeah, it's really,
So in 4th and 5th, will it really just be used for intervention type of stuff?
no, all of our students are using it because it will tutor them at their own level. And so it's a differentiation tool, not just
Right.
intervention. It's,
Kind of as their intervention.
we're sort of excited, yeah, for sure. So,
Okay.
by differentiating, you're differentiating for all students, your advanced students and your
Right.
struggling learners, so does it serve
Right.
as an intervention? Sure.
Because everyone does intervention.
Individual pathways, which we're eager to see really, and by we, especially our early literacy, our elementary coaches and Raina, our interventionists, they're really excited to see what our scores look like with this tool, and it'll be interesting to see because it's
Does
new.
it match up with the structured literacy that we've adopted?
In
for the
K2,
tech?
in the early grades, it does,
Because I
yes.
remember that was the concern that the K through 2 teachers had, is that it wasn't showing as much growth as they could see in their classroom because it wasn't matching up with our structured literacy that we've adopted.
Yeah, it does, it matches
Oh,
up,
that's
so
good.
I think we're in good shape.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda, Jonathan will present the budget estimate, the proposed pay manual revisions, capital improvement programs, the major project budget tracker, and the tax levy summary.
Good afternoon, board members. Thank you for your time. The first item, again, is some data, budget estimate. As you remember, the board authorized a seismic evaluation, a structural evaluation of Washington Elementary. That was completed by Ridge Structural Engineering. We received that July 9th. And as we read through that, we realized, although it has some great data, we wanted to get some numbers associated with that. And so we contacted Bateman Hall, who we're familiar with, and it was a perfect fit because they have worked with Ridge Structural Engineering on some other projects. They're very familiar with them. And we met the end of July to kind of make sure they understood the scope and so forth. And so in front of you is a memo. You could see the actual document from Bateman Hall is the way that they listed in their different, these are the different bidding packages. Again, we'll stress again, this is definitely a budget estimate. As you know, budgets, they're not firm until that contractor goes out to bid there. Just so you know, currently we have removed all the technology, and so I got with our Ms. Pettit and our technology coordinator, Kevin Chatfield, to get some numbers. If we were to put this back 100% functioning, that would be the numbers that we would, for technology, $232,000. And then we would need some other desk tables as those have all been relocated to other schools. And that's roughly about 5% of the construction cost is the industry standard. So that's about $340,000. So you add that to the a little over $8 million from Bateman Hall. So we're right around $8.6 million. It would be the kind of the budget estimate to satisfy all the requirements from the structural engineer. and wanted to kind of share that with the board. We have, with this information, we planned a Washington committee with this one. Remember our various groups. I've got that here. You know, the Washington Elementary Advocates, Neighborhood Association, City Pocatello, the PEA. It will be just an informational meeting to share this. They've been emailed this seismic information. They'll have this online now. But just to kind of share that with that group, it'll be next Monday at 5 o'clock, just for your information there.
Thank you. I appreciate that we kind of put the effort into
Yeah,
this. I think we owe
yes.
this to the community,
Absolutely.
certainly to the Washington group. I'm also pleased to see it's less than what
Sure,
the
which,
spitballing that we did.
and it was, yeah, it was,
It's,
rather than the
noticeably less.
state square foot averages, in which we kind of knew those were, going to be high, but still a significant amount.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
The next one is proposed pay manual revisions. Again, this is our yearly request as we kind of look at different things, how we can fine tune and improve processes within our payroll and business offices. You'll see on page 10, probably the biggest one is, again, that we previously had been allocating at vacation when you hit your anniversary of your hire date. But as you can imagine, that was spread out all through the year. It was very challenging, and we'd like to change that. Basically, we'd allocate all vacation on July 1st, and that first year you would just get a prorated amount. But then once you've completed, that first year, then you would get the full amount. We feel this is fair to the employees. They would get a few more vacation days, maybe a month, up to 10 months or 11 months earlier. But again, these are employees that have been with us for 5, 6 years, dedicated employees. So as administrators, we felt like, that's something that would be good to do.
That would apply to new hires as well, right? I mean, isn't this the same?
Correct.
Okay.
There is a
That's
waiting
good. I
period.
think that's good.
There's a waiting period depending on when you would start, and that's that prorated amount. Whenever you start, here comes July 1st, you might be two days. If you started, say, in the early spring, for example.
Yeah.
But if you've gone a whole year, you'd again would be a prorated amount there.
That seems very
Yeah.
nice and fair.
Yeah. Some cleanup language. Again, on page 14, dental insurance, vision insurance, just consistent that until you reach the age of 26, you can be on the vision insurance, and that would be for dependents. But then also a clarification with the state program that you have to take the health insurance and the vision insurance are connected. And so previously you were able to get vision insurance just as a standalone, but we no longer can offer that. And so that's where we needed to say that to be able to get vision coverage, you have to take the health insurance. And then it's just the yearly updates to the Affordable Care Act rates on look-back periods, and we'll go through that.
Have you gotten any indication what rates will be for the coming year?
For the insurance as a
Yeah.
whole, or, no, they'll normally come, that's normally a spring.
Oh, okay, so we don't reset like most people do in just January?
No. So our end of year is July 1st, actually.
Okay.
So we have open enrollment. What is that right now? The end of, I think it's the end of April, first part of May is our open enrollment. So yeah, and that works best for schools, right? I mean, because you have a lot of people starting in September. So
That
that's
would make sense. I'm just,
no, you're good.
I'm
You're
in
good.
my own.
You are, yeah.
I'm worried
yeah.
about my company.
You're
Yeah,
reconciling the
doing that.
two.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. So that's how that's
Different
the same time period of our deductibles as well. So our deductible starts July 1st and ends June 30th. So, again, these is just for way of information. We'll ask you to approve that next week. The next is a draft. The one failure I did on this is I should have put draft all over this. We wanted to kind of, part of your strategic goal was about some budgetary items that were searchable, was transparent, and we thought, well, some of our bigger items are SIP projects. And so, again, we'll reorder these. If you do approve of this, this will be kind of, what's the section, Ms. Johnson, in the reports of the agenda, self-explanatory reports? Is that correct?
Yes.
That it would just be in there, that you could look at your leisure there. And again, this would start in July and kind of, it'll probably just be a 6-month report, because then we'll have these completed. But wanted to kind of show you with the Highland rebuild again. I've got some feedback we'll update some of these, but you can kind of see the check dates, the vendors who we're paying for, and a little memo of what they've asked for Highland. And then the other capital improvement projects, and then these, we chose ones that are over 100,000, as the board had previously asked for. The school, the project name, the total cost, and then the description. I say total cost because there's a few of these that we needed to get an architect involved. We needed to get, permits from the city. They needed some drawings. Sometimes we needed a little engineer. And so it will, on some of these, will be slightly more than what you approved in the bid. But again, we just take that out of our, our regular maintenance and so forth. So again, as of last Friday, or excuse me, 9/3, these were the amounts of the that were paid for each of the projects. Again, I'm looking for feedback at this point. Is this something that would be useful? If it's not, then I'll save my time and don't need to do it there. But again, is this helpful for the board?
And these are committed projects.
Correct.
So
These would be.
money's been spent.
So again, this
Yeah.
is catching up, but it will, as you bid and you will see the list of every project above 100,000, that's what will form the list for next year.
Gotcha.
These
No,
are the
this is
projects.
Very nice.
These are all ones that have come to you, Mickelson for tennis courts, Briggs Roofing for the Idaho roof, 3D for Franklin, M&S for the Franklin track, Construction Solutions for the Hawthorne bathroom, so forth. I mean, I'm just reading from the page there. You can kind of see the major payments. These are ones that you've approved the bids for.
I've got a question about the bathrooms.
Sure.
How many bathrooms are being renovated over to Hawthorne?
So there's a boys' bathroom and a girls' bathroom with
Okay.
5-6 stalls in each.
And so then it would be kind of like 55,000 for each, is that it? Or
Each little stall there.
right, and so then that was pretty much what we had figured in the first place when Tanya and I went around. We estimated it was going to be about $50,000 to renovate them
For each stall.
for each bathroom. Or
Well, it's 358.
Yeah, so it's a large,
2 bathrooms, so it'd be what,
12 stalls.
175 per bathroom? Is that what, I'm not sure.
and then
Oh,
it's
yeah.
boys and girls. So
Sure.
yeah, Mr. Knopf, Mr. Knopf, that would be, close to, doing my math there. So if they're 10, I mean, you're, 35, 40,000 per fixture, let's call it that way, per
Oh, okay.
toilet seat.
so is that in line with the estimate, Tanya, that we were looking at? No, so it's more, right? So it's,
This is a,
Significantly more, because each facility will have its own issues that you're gonna go with. This had the janitorial closet, where when we went to PDSC or PCCS, they didn't have those things to deal with, to work around, so they actually had to move the holes where they didn't have to. They left the holes and built the rooms around them. Does that make sense?
yes.
Yeah.
So each facility is gonna have its own constraints.
Right, and we also went over and looked at Pocatello High School, and that was similarly easy, and no holes needed to be moved.
Correct.
And so when you're talking at that, we were talking about, what, 50,000 per entire bathroom?
That's
When
what
it,
it cost them, yes.
uh-huh,
Like the
So with these
175
remodels-
For each bathroom.
for the easy situations.
correct,
Okay, but we have a more difficult situation here.
correct.
They had to move the holes, which cost significantly more.
Yeah. And this is, I'll give you a heads up that this is, there's some ones that are even more difficult to this. And I'll give you a heads up even more. This is what the board will kind of decide, okay, if we're 350,000 into a set of these, how do we, is that a good allocation of money. I'll tell you, they love it. You know, it's helped quite a bit. That being said, it is very expensive. And so we'll talk to the board, we'll talk to the SIP committee. Okay, is this an amount of money that we want to allocate for, we'd probably go the next level. This is only just one level, main level at Hawthorne. We'd probably, you know, well, but again, that's up to the board if
Would we go to a different school, though?
And that's
do
where I
one
was going.
bathroom
That's
in
where
a
I was
different
going.
school,
We
one
could look and
bathroom in a
see.
different- So that everybody, at every school, there
At
was
least has
a
one.
private
Possibly.
option at every school.
You bet.
Right, and so my understanding too is we're gonna start on the ground floor because that's where most of the problems are. And then,
For athletic events and all kinds of.
Yep.
right, and then also in the middle schools for that age group. Okay,
So again, we'll have this topic again.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So, and so again,
this looks really
feedback,
Nice and
anything?
clear.
Yeah,
I guess our
Ms.
other
Burns?
major project is PV Tech. So if we're going projects, that would be nice to have the final, I don't know if you have the final.
So this is,
On that yet?
so, we do. This was just for this last school year. I did include to the beginning of our Highland rebuild, but as you see that second page, this is just the 25-26 school year. And if you remember, we were in, we did finish up PV Tech in the fall, but I just did the projects that were there, for,
Yeah, I guess
the
that's the one
25-26
that
school year.
people kind of are, I mean, it's the one that's almost done.
Sure, and we can, if there's ever a request there, we can easily, formulate that total cost as well. Ms. Furness, you had a question? Sorry, Madam Chair, Ms. Furness.
You're good. I really enjoyed this format. I thought for the community to look at it, it was really easy to read.
Okay,
So
good, thank you.
I was very thankful.
If there, any improvements, any changes? you would-
The only thing, because a lot of things are maintenance, and so I guess that really wouldn't be itemized because it's so many, so there are so many things.
Correct.
But maybe we could just have, this is the maintenance budget that we had for this year, and maybe just
Okay.
an example of major items out of there, but not, obviously not a full list. Maybe that would be helpful because it's another really big budget.
And that would be, correct. I mean, I can see, for example, we just
Kinda
ordered,
tracking what did we spend last year?
there's 2 elementary schools that will get ADA access. Those run us about 10 grand, $9,800. We just ordered those, because those are things we can do kind of during the school year. That'll just be a fairly lengthy list, but again, some of it's just supplies. So I guess, we can start with this, and then as you have more requests, to get more granular, it's just will get bigger the more granular you get.
Yeah, I would think just like an idea of 4 or 5, just to give, us an idea of this is the total amount, these are examples of
Sure.
what it would be.
Okay,
Things
we can.
like replacement schedule, which would be like carpet, paint,
Yeah, exactly,
roof.
exactly.
Like all those things are
40,000
included, just
for this
kind of a
carpet.
list of,
Okay.
to get an idea
I-
of what
if-
that replacement schedule includes
Okay.
for all the schools.
Madam Chair, if you'll allow me, next month, I have scheduled to do a SIP presentation where you'll see kind of before, after pictures on these projects. And at that time, I can create a couple slides that kind of show some of the little projects, maintenance projects, capital improvements.
Yeah,
If-
less than 100,000, because
Sure.
that's where we were kind of
Yes.
taking off point. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was our floor, was
Okay.
100,000.
you bet. We did some awesome things for some playgrounds.
Yeah,
And those playgrounds are not they're under 100,000, but they're several tens of thousands. Idaho got some nice, and Tyhee got some nice
If you were
playground
to
equipment.
drop that threshold, how many more are we talking about if you went to 75 or maybe 50? Would the list
And
become
I thought
pretty
we were at
unwieldy at that
70.
point?
Yeah, I thought we were at 75, because I thought the law changed from 50 to 75.
Nope, 70. It used to, maybe 4 years ago, it was at 50,
yeah.
and it went to 75.
Okay, I
But
remember
the
that.
most, July 1st, now it's 100.
Oh, so
Sorry,
just-
now it's 250.
Just barely, but we decided to
Yeah, our
stay at
policy kept it 100.
Yeah,
That's-
I
okay,
see.
I remember. I'm
Correct.
sorry, I do remember.
And I'll show you, I'll do my very best to say, like ADA access. I think that's something that the public would love to know. Those are 10 grand.
And just to know
The
what-
playgrounds,
Yeah, and just to know what kinds of things are included in that maintenance.
Sure.
And in that thing, it's paint and carpet, those are the things that come from that budget.
Sure, some technology as well. Okay, so as it stands, this report, and again, any report you can give feedback on, hey, we need to change it, we need to add it, and so forth. But we'll go from this, but then I'll for that SIP presentation next month, I'll kind of prepare that list, and you can tell me, okay, this is a good report. Is this a once-a-year report or an ongoing report? I mean, it's all about time,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it's all very
it's
clear.
not too much.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, it looks very clear and very
Yeah.
understandable.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, we tried our best, and we got a lot of good feedback from Dr. Howell, the whole and cabinet on kind of what that should look like. So, at any time, please let me know. The last one, we wanted to let you know. So we received a higher amount than we had even thought from the state for our school district facilities fund. Even though it says facilities fund, it's really taxpayer relief because we have to spend it on our supplemental levy and our plant facility levy. Last year, we got 6.1 million. That again just came right off the top of our supplemental levy. But this year we got a whopping $10.1 million from the state. So this blue sheet that's in front of you, that's actually from our the budget hearing, where it's on the right hand where it says estimated. Well, the numbers that you see there are concrete. So again, before any of this payment, we were going to ask roughly $15.6 million between the supplemental levy and the plant facility, and then the tort is just a little line item there. But again, you can kind of see, again, mentioned that we have $10.1 million that we've received from the state already. And so the net amount to be levied is slightly under $5.2 million. So as you can see, we don't know exactly what the percentage of the property tax will go to the schools, but it will definitely be below 10%. So in that regard, that's great. I would hope that, again, we don't know what the counties and the cities are going to do, so I'm hesitant to say we're going to get a tax reduction, but we are definitely asking for, compared to last year, almost $4.3 million less from our taxpayers because of that payment. And conversely, I am nervous for next year because what if we don't receive 10 million, then that percentage that is going from property tax to our schools is going up. And I hate to, that because it wouldn't be necessarily because of us, but it's because we receive less revenue from the state that we would need to ask more to satisfy our needs from our taxpayers. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
exciting for now, though.
The other two,
That's a good thing, yeah.
the other two sheets are literally from, it's called the L2, if you ever hear that. It's the L2 that we submit to the county and county commissioners and their treasurer. I mean, it touches almost every aspect of the county, and then it goes ultimately to the state tax commission. And this gets approved by state tax commission and then back to us to levy there. So again, you can see those same rates, supplemental plant facility, that column number 4 there, revenue from school district facilities fund equal to that 10.124630 amount. And then I just throw in this next page. This is called the voter tracker. And there's just 2 dates there in the green up above. And those are the dates when we passed our supplemental levy and when we started levying them. So remember, it was November, and we started in the it was November of 24 for the 25-26 school year. And so, again, a reminder, at this time next year, we'll be looking at recommending another supplemental levy election. But then also, you can see our plant facility levy, that we still have a few more years left on our 10-year plant facility levy. And that's just another tab in this form for the L2. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Next, we have the revised policy and procedure 7202, presented by Brenda Minor.
It's like, if we don't have Brenda, do you want?
Do you want to do the other policy first, and then we'll
I
come
was
back
going
to
to
that?
say, I don't know if we really, is she here? Okay.
policy-
I'm like, it's very minor
Yeah, I
revision.
think it was
so.
just a date
Sorry,
change.
Brenda.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you want me to? You got it?
Evaluation.
I apologize. Anyway, question. Sorry. So all we did on that policy is we needed to change the date from the 15th to the 30th to give principals more time. Dr. Howell and I had talked about why it was the 15th, and the reason for that being that when it used to be paper pencil, it was, a lot more calculations, but now that it's digital through the state, and once we have that program that kind of gives us the big spreadsheet and we send that in, it helps principals. That end of the year is so busy. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Next is another policy. It's actually up for deletion in 3309 that Dr. Howell will present.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. So this one, as you can see, you've probably had a chance to read through it, and it's all just red line strike through for deletion. And the title of the policy is Riot and Civil Commotion System. And we have all of our emergency services and procedures in place. And so we feel that this is way out of date. In fact, if you look at the time period, it was 1977 when this was adopted. And there's a lot of intervening done on behalf of staff and getting into the riot itself and confronting people. And that's really not what we want to do. And so we will ask next week that this policy be deleted.
Okay. Is there any other business or any other comments or anything that we need? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.